Hey, what it do with the business is?
It is another week in the books with the OndeckTV podcast. I am Spike Lou.
Man, holla at your boy Animal Brown, Animal_Brown if you're looking for me on Twitter and Instagram.
Absolutely, I am Spike Lou on the same social sites. Holla at your boy. How you been holding up out there?
Man, I'm good out here in these streets. Went to the barbershop. Barely.
Barely went to the barbershop. Did you wear a mask while you were getting cut?
No. I should have. I can wear a mask on my head, but I ain't getting mask shit cut on my head.
Funny. Was it like a lot of people in the barbershop?
Hell no.
Apparently, people outside of Georgia think that Atlanta is not quarantining anymore. They think it's just wide open down here. Has that been your experience?
It is wide open down here. What are you talking about?
It's true.
People out and about, man. That quarantine shit been OV.
Nigga, I was at the mall picking up a couple of things, and
see,
the nigga was talking to some cat. I guess the cat worked there, and he was like, "Nigga, I missed you at First Fridays last night." Oh man, he said the dance floor was packed. I said, "Oh man,
the dance floor."
The dance floor was packed at First Fridays at Compound, allegedly. So if you want to get your dance on, go to First Fridays Compound.
Let me tell you, last time the dance floor was packed and you saw me on it, nigga. It's been hellas.
Never for $1,000, Bob.
Man, what we got up today, man?
Man, this week for the quick hits, man. 2 new hip-hop podcasts are starting with Royce the 5'9" and Lupe Fiasco spearheading one. They're going to let you know what they're thinking and give you a weekly podcast. Also, NPR has a brand new podcast, Louder Than a Riot, that explores the intersection of mass incarceration and hip-hop in America. The BET Hip-Hop Awards are around the corner. They've announced the nominees. We're going to give you some predictions as only we can on OndeckTV style. And your man's Logic rants on IG about how Def Jam are not paying the contributors for his No Pressure album. But first, my guy Lil Baby came out and said after some mishaps with his goings on in politics that he's staying far away from anything political now. My question to you: does this make you look at the bigger picture song differently, or do you understand where the artist Lil Baby is coming from and staying away from the political stuff?
I get it, man. He was talking to Billboard. His exact quote was, "The more I am seeing what's up with all that shit, the more I'm like, let me back up out of politics. I don't want to be no Malcolm X or Martin Luther. I stuck my nose in it. I'm good on that." So listen, I get it 110%. Now, I think he got a taste of politics and he didn't like it. I still feel that the bigger picture record was genuine. I think he just didn't know what all that entails when you're involved in politics. Have you seen the ads for the dude down here, John Ossoff, running for Georgia's Senate representation? Have you been seeing those commercials and shit?
Yeah, I've seen those.
Dude, I got a chance to sit in on an interview of his, and there is no way on God's green earth I would want to be a politician. I'm talking about everything was scripted to the nines. Every fucking thing was scripted. He had to be a robot. He's like 32, 33, so he's young. He really supposed to be out here shaking it. He can't do any of that shit, dude. Like, it's so buttoned up. It's so robotic. You can't be really who you want to be. And so I understand that Lil Baby somehow, some way got into some circles and peep game and was like, "Oh no, I ain't got time for this shit." It's not worth it, bro. But so I get it. He made his song, he made his statement, he made his point. Now let's get back to the money and doing all the stuff that you were doing beforehand with the charitable efforts and things of that nature, dude. But being knee deep in politics, you can cancel that, and I feel him.
I understand him too, because he's of the age where he can make a step back and reassess how he wants to approach it. I saw an article with GQ where he was talking about where he had Paul Howard, who is the district attorney here in Atlanta. I think it's the Fulton County, I believe it is. He's the district attorney. And he came out and lied and said that Lil Baby endorsed him when he hadn't. And the reason that Lil Baby was especially disturbed by this because Paul Howard had locked him up about 5 years before as the district attorney in Fulton County.
That's nuts.
Nuts. So I say that to say Lil Baby is affected by these things, and I've seen as far as interviews and how he kind of carries himself that this ain't something that he's just gonna say, fuck it, I'm never paying attention to it again. I feel like he's gonna find a better approach. And then he's going to approach it that way from here on out, where he can help his homeboys, help his communities, because I know that one of the biggest things in his career path, one of his whys or why he's in the business is so he can help his homeboys and provide and have a better life for people. And I think that he'll be able to do that by staying interested in politics just as soon as he finds a way to approach it and be effective. So I ain't got any problem with him backing out now, focusing on getting to the bread, getting to the money. He gonna come back and he gonna know how to maneuver where he's not getting stringer belled out here. A wire quote that you won't get because you've never seen The Wire. Yeah, but the people listening will see that.
Yeah,
the people listening to see that. He gonna come back and he'll be effective.
Listen, man, I hate to say it, but like because we need more people that look like us and come from our backgrounds to be in those offices and stuff. But bro, it's just so hard, dog. Like it's so stale, dude. Like, bro, like your record got to be Mr. Clean, spick and span shiny, nigga. Like it's a shame because again we need more representation to be in there making these decisions, so then he wouldn't be getting locked up unfairly or treated unfairly. And but man, like it's tough.
I don't know if it was unfair. I think he locked him up very fairly. He was breaking.
No, I'm just saying, just generally speaking.
He's just saying in general.
Yeah, okay. Now generally speaking, you know what I'm saying. Some people need to be locked up. Some people don't. You know what I'm saying. A lot of times we get the short end of the stick when it comes to shit like that. But and so I like to see people getting involved, but it's just so stuffy in those rooms, bro. Like it takes the life out of everything, man. It's like unseasoned food, bro. It's really hard to maneuver, bro. You got to be a certain type of person.
So do you think that maybe because the people that are in those rooms are so acclimated, they've been groomed to do that their whole life, that's the reason those rooms are stale? What if you do get people like Lil Baby in those rooms? Does the air in that room change, in your opinion?
It's tough because it's the system itself has been, the room has been built by people that obviously don't come from the same backgrounds that are us or look like us. And so I'm starting to believe it's supposed to feel like that to deter people like us from even being in there. I think people want to keep it that way. It's almost like on some tradition type shit. Like, and so somebody like Lil Baby coming up and trying to shake the system, man, like it would take more than just one because it's been like that for so long. But it's just so hard to break through, man. Like it's just deeper than him. It's deeper than him, bro. It's like it's the entire system is just so stuffy and cloudy, and you can't really move in it like how you want to, like how you could in the street or how you could in. It's like corporate America. You can go but so high before it's like, okay, that's enough for him. You know what I'm saying? Like you doing too much. You ever see somebody at work doing too much? Like you being a little too. It's like, bro, you can get there's a ceiling to that, and it's low. If we be in 1,000, that's just how it is. You can be the one to break through, and we'll see where that take you. But it's a challenge that do you feel like doing it?
Yeah,
do you feel like that?
Exactly. You, like Baby? Said, the very important thing he said, he's not trying to be Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. So
yeah, they dead. Nobody wants to be that.
Not even in that sense of it, but in the sense of like, I'm not trying to be that radical. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with him as an artist saying, look, I put out this to address how I feel on the bigger picture, and that was pretty much the extent of it. I'm not saying that I don't know or do know, but I ain't here to have a conversation with you about it. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think that's what he meant by that, though.
What do you mean?
I don't think he meant that I don't want to be that radical. And I don't think he wants to be picked apart. And I think that's what was starting to happen. And he was probably starting to get looked a certain way. And when he did step into a room or two with Keisha Lance Bottoms, he had put out a tweet. He had to put out a post about Keisha Lance Bottoms. And he ended up taking it down, like a political tweet, nothing bad. And he had ended up taking it down. Like he was probably getting too much heat. It's too easy to pick apart a quote unquote trap rapper that's trying to get in those circles to make change. It's too easy to pick apart, bro, for the general public, which is who those politicians are talking to.
Well, even before a trap rapper, more so as a young person, it's easy to pick apart. I don't really think that he has stances enough to where he would even want to be in those rooms and say, hey, well, I'm going to die behind this, and this is my tweet. He's not an activist. So that was to the point of what I was saying. I do think that he meant, I disagree with you there when you say you don't think he wants to be picked apart. I don't think it was about how people are going to address him. I think it was more so about like, I'm not here to go back and forth with you people about shit that don't affect people that I care about. So I'm not here to play politics with you. Like the reason that I brought up the thing about the district attorney, like the guy actually didn't, he said that Lil Baby endorsed him. He didn't, who knows? Mm-hmm. But that's part of playing politics. Like, oh, Lil Baby hot, he got the bigger picture song. This guy's in heat because he stole money from the county and reallocated funds to where he shouldn't be. So he needed some good press. And he went out and said, oh, Lil Baby endorsed me. That is the turning thing that where he says, I'm not Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. I'm not going to play these games with y'all and play this political game with you as to where you can go out and say this and I got to fight you with words out here in the press. Like, I don't do that. I'm not signing up for that. I think that's what he was saying. More so than like, I think you get picked apart regardless as a trap rapper, a Lil Baby, being from Atlanta. Like, I think that you deal with those arrows even as a big artist, especially with the climb that he's taking in 2020.
It's a whole nother level when you get in political spaces, though. And
yeah, I don't think he was trying to be he wasn't trying to be like a councilman or nothing.
But I'm gonna tell you what happened. I just remembered the tweet he put up. He posted a tweet or IG about police reform with Keisha Lance Bottom, and he ended up deleting it. So it ain't no telling what the mentions look like when he posted that, bro. And that's coming from all sides. That's what I'm saying. It's either the who the hell does he think he is crowd, or the damn now you the police crowd, or like, bro, he's catching it from everywhere. He's gonna get picked apart no matter where he turns when he starts to do shit like that. And I don't know if he's built like maybe a Killer Mike, because Killer Mike can defend what it is that he's doing. I don't know if Lil Baby's in that space yet. He might be too young for that. You see what I'm saying? Like to be able to communicate what it is, what his plan is in a situation like that. He might be too new to it, bro. He might just be too, he not in that deep like a Killer Mike is. Killer Mike can explain himself. He can meet with the Democratic or the Republican and explain himself and why he did this shit easy with a smile on his face. Nigga, he can do it in your face. He can do it on Twitter. He can do it in the comments.
Well, I don't think the Lil Baby's interested in explaining himself.
That too. That's my point. Really, he doesn't want to get picked apart and have to sit here and explain all this shit that he doing. Man, he ain't got time for that, bro. Now if you ain't got to, you might want to do that shit. That's fair. That shit is not attractive, man. But shout out to him. I'm fucking with him though. Moving on, man. You teased it earlier. We've got 2 new hip hop podcasts launching soon. First, we've got Royce the 5'9" and Lupe joining forces with the drum roll, the Lupe and Royce Show. All right,
man. That's also a creative name.
Very creative name, guys. Also, NPR has a new podcast called Louder Than a Riot, which explores intersection of mass incarceration and hip hop in America. If you had to listen to one of these first, because they come out on the same day, which one are you more excited about?
I am a big fan of Royce the 5'9". As you know, I mentioned him for MVP of this year a little early in this long ass year. Seems like so long ago we were talking about that, but I'm gonna have to go with NPR and their legendary status as podcast makers. And as Louder Than a Riot seems like it's definitely going to be something that's interesting in the least. And here's the reason that I go with this over the Royce and Lupe. Not that they won't probably have interesting conversation, but I look forward to the layers that Louder Than a Riot adds. We at one point we were talking about the podcast where they broke down the Kendrick Lamar and they broke down the Dissect podcast. All of these different things and different avenues the podcast takes, it just add layers to what hip hop is, open up more ears, give people more insight, and then that opens up the ears to people who may not have listened to the music before but have context. Then they go back and listen to the music, and you have a fan. It's why hip-hop is growing. So I look forward to this Louder Than a Riot podcast. They're going to have stuff with Nipsey Hussle, they're going to have stuff with Bobby Shmurda, and it's going to examine and explore each episode as far as how different aspects of criminal justice systems disproportionately impact Black America. So I look forward to Louder Than a Riot. I can't wait. October the 8th, it starts.
Yeah, I don't listen to much on NPR, but I understand that, you know, they vets in the game. They vet status is solidified in the podcast game, so they know how to produce a dope ass podcast. Now, when it comes to Lupe and Royce, I'm interested in hearing that too, but I understand how big chemistry and rhythm is when you've got two people on a podcast, and sometimes that takes time to build. And so I'll probably give that one some time for it to hit its full potential. But I'm super interested in that, man. October 8th for both of them, which is dope. I'll probably listen to both. I'm gonna temper my expectations for Royce and Lupe so they can get their feet up under them and get that chemistry together first. But those are two intelligent, bright hip hop minds, and I think they make sense together. So I'm excited about it as well.
Yeah, they definitely do make sense together, and I'm going to tune into that one. After I listen to that Louder Than a Riot, I definitely want to see what they're talking about. Because, like you said, though, Royce has some very interesting thought processes. He did say he's gonna do this whole first episode like he was writing a rap, like it was a rap.
I think he was joking, man. I hope he was.
I was joking too, but you missed it as well. So,
okay.
But yeah, he said that he was doing the whole one like a rap, and I know how I felt about that. But I of course, he was being facetious. So
now
we'll see how it go.
With the NPR thing, I'm interested in the results that they come up with. Like, will they give a definitive answer as to the connection of mass incarceration and hip hop, or are they just examining it and just giving just a macro level overview of it? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm interested in. I want to know what that's going to be like.
It said, hosted by NPR's Rodney Carmichael and Sidney Madden, this podcast is invested in power from all angles. The power of the music industry wields over artists, the power of institutional forces that marginalize communities of color, the power of prison, industrial complex, and the power of dynamics deep rooted in the rap episode. Each episode is going to explore an artist's story to examine a different aspect of the criminal justice system that impacts Black America.
Yeah, that's going to be hard.
That's going to be really good. And to quote Nipsey Hussle and Bobby Shmurda.
That shit going to be hard as fuck.
Next, the BET Hip Hop Awards, the 2020 Hip Hop Awards are coming up. Seems like a long time ago that we seen your man's Roddy Ricch steal the show at the regular BET Awards, but apparently they've got their footing and they know how they want to do this. Are you looking forward to the BET Hip Hop Awards, and what are some of your predictions?
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I think they did a real good job with the BET Awards earlier this year. That was one of the better ones. I was surprised that we need to be in a pandemic for all of the award shows if they're gonna look like that, because they got that shit right. Looking at some of these nominations, number one, the Baby leads with 12 nominations and Roddy has 11. But some of these categories are interesting, man. Like we it's easy to pick these apart because they almost always get them wrong. But the best hip hop album, the hip hop album of the year, is probably the worst category I've ever seen. Let me give you the 6 albums that are in hip hop album of the year: The Baby, Blame It On Baby; The Baby, Kirk;
The Baby,
Future, High Off Life; Megan Thee Stallion, Sugar; Lil Baby, My Turn; and Roddy Ricch, Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial. Bro, there's probably one album on here that even deserves to be in this category.
Roddy Ricch.
That's the one album, dude.
Yeah.
That's it, bro. And I fuck with everybody on this list. One album
Why do you think
be considered hip hop album of the year, bro? Stop.
Why do you think this is the list?
I have
like,
no
where is
idea.
Like what? Well, oh my god, I don't even. There's so many questions that I have, but I hope that the production for the BET Awards trickles down to, like what you said, the BET Hip Hop Awards, and we can enjoy what we are able to see during this quarantine. But again, some of the producer of the year, okay, I like that one. But DJ of the year, video director of the year, these things I feel like could be updated and just done better, especially since you're not having like a crowd of people there. You're not going to have the whole presentation thing. I feel like that they just could do more virtual type awards, more interactive type stuff, just to make it dope. So if I had any complaints, it would be about the category of the awards as well. And I laughed at some of the nominees too. So we'll see how it goes.
Speaking of DJ of the year, this is a shoe-in. If there was ever a shoe-in, if D Nice doesn't win this,
100%. 100%. He had the quarantine on his back.
That's what he single-handedly saved the quarantine early on before Swiss and then picked it up with the battles and shit. He saved it, nigga. Like that shit was donezo. I also think it's another slam dunk hip hop video of the world, a video of the year. Future and Drake, Life is Good. That's an easy call. Easy call. I came across that video the other day just bullshitting on YouTube, and I forgot how dope it was with with them working in a restaurant and them acting like they was directing it and working on it and shit. It was hard. That video was dope as fuck. That's an easy call.
I got that video was dope. I got a surprise. I feel like the best new hip hop artist. Flo Milli, Jack Harlow, Mulatto, NLE Chopper, Pop Smoke, and Rod Wave.
Yep.
That's a strong category right there. I think Mulatto gonna take that though. She's had a strong September and October for some reason. Well, not for some reason. I don't want to slide her. She's been doing her thing, but she's had a strong last 2 months.
Ever since the freshman class cover, she's been cooking.
Yeah, she's been cooking. I think she may take that. Especially because
they're gonna give it to Pop Smoke. Rest in peace.
Well, like you said, though, it's virtual. They want to see the people there. Like they want Big Lotto, and she calls herself on the screen for the BET Hip Hop Awards. They looking for Big Lotto to show up. I think they'll give her that to have an appearance.
I want her on the screen to show up, nigga, but that don't mean that
100%. That's why I'm rooting for it and planting the seed. Now, hopefully, some of the people that can pull some strings are listening and watching this. I want to see Big Lotto on there. So let's go. Let's root for Big Lotto, y'all. If y'all can vote for it, go vote.
Listen, Royce the 5'9" was so hot that he wasn't in the lyricist of the year category.
As he should be.
Yeah, he was hot about that shit.
Like he should, let's read the lyricist of the year category. The Baby.
Yeah.
Rhapsody.
Okay.
Meg Thee Stallion.
Okay.
J. Cole, Drake, and Big Sean.
All of them can rap. Let's not do that.
None of them can rap better than Royce the 5'9". Let's not do that. Listen. So it's just like I feel like you just throw Rhapsody in there for good measure because you don't really think she can rap her ass off and probably should win this category between her and Jermaine Cole. But to disrespect Royce and not put him in front of the Baby and Drake.
Whoa!
Disrespectful. Now. That's just disrespectful.
Whoa! Let's not get out of hand. Shit.
Royce is definitely a better rapper than Drake. Drake is probably the best artist in the last 20 years. You're right. So what? But we're talking about the best lyricist category. If I was Royce, I would be highly offended. Y'all hardly ever pay attention to lyricists. And now when we got a category, y'all want to leave me out. I'd raise hell.
But before we get to this 21 Savage album, let's talk Logic. Recently retired rapper Logic is the latest rapper to voice his displeasure with his record label. He's claiming that Def Jam has yet to pay the contributors to his last album, No Pressure. The problem being that most of those who contributed to his albums were his friends, causing him to go on IG and rant about it. Are you surprised a label like Def Jam is having issues paying their bills?
I'm not surprised at all, but I do commend Logic for going to IG and exposing them and letting the people know that this is the record business, not making any excuses for it, but the hard time that the people give Baby, people give smaller record labels like Cash Money and smaller record labels like Bad Boy. Where do you think they learn this behavior from? They don't get this shit out of thin air and like we gonna be the people that are not gonna pay people. They didn't get paid by people, and they just continuing that practice on. Good or bad, right or wrong, that's the music business. And I think this ties into Kanye West tweets a couple of weeks ago, or last week when we were talking. things like this in the music business, Def Jam, who we know can afford to pay these contributors to the album, just dragging their feet. And the small guy, maybe living check to check, this may be his big break, first placement, anything of that nature. It's quarantine, so the company feel like, oh, well, you know, we got to wait because our bottom line doesn't look the same. I feel like it's disgusting that they're able to get away with it, and I'm glad that he took time out on his Instagram to point this out and shows that it's not just the babies and it's not just the Puff Daddies that do this. It's the music business. It's what Kanye West in part was ranting about not too long ago.
I think without that Kanye rant, we don't get this post. That's number one.
True, he's trying to hop on. He definitely front running.
Yeah, no, I think that sparked him. Man, I'm gonna take this to IG. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's number one. Number two, I'm a little surprised that Def Jam is having issues. Like, I would expect this from a boutique label that may be low on cash, and maybe that's the reason they can't pay their contributors. But Def Jam, just take that out of the Kanye West Masters pot.
Give an example of a boutique label.
Like Megan Thee Stallion shit, Carl Crawford shit, his shit, you know what I'm saying? That label, something like that. Then I could be like, okay, you know, they got one horse that's driving this entire thing.
Maybe I ain't paying nobody.
I can see that. But nah, not Def Jam though. Like I said, just take that shit out of Kanye Masters pot. I know you got it. You know what I'm saying? But I get why Logic is hot though, because he's trying to put some of his own homies in the game. And he probably promised them things that he knew would be taken care of, and they're not. So he's hot about this shit. You know what I'm saying? And they're not coming to Def Jam. They're hitting him up for it. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have the ties to Def Jam. They're in through him. So he's got the text messages, and that's what he screenshot. He screenshotted a text message from his homeboy, like, yo, like, and his homeboy was cool. He was like, yo, bro, like, I haven't got anything from the album, you know what I'm saying? Like, nothing from the sessions or nothing, bro. Like, just checking in, like, what do I do, my nigga? Like,
Logic hit him with the while I'm having dinner with my wife and my kids. Dog.
Yeah, he snapped off in the IG thing, man. But like, what I thought was crazy in the rant, though, he said that aside from his advances, he's never seen a dime from Def Jam in 8 years being on the label. That is crazy, because we just talked about the Kanye rant on a couple of episodes ago, and we said that the advances, the way that the record business is set up, is so that you're constantly in debt. And so you get the advance, and that's usually it. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to pay that back and recoup, and then they charge absorbent amounts, you know, to studio time and shit
and videos. But what does Logic spend money on?
Well, you mean what? I don't. What do you mean? What does he spend money, or how does he get money?
Well, no, what?
Because he said he hasn't got money from the deals.
So where I would be confused if I were on his team. I'm no lawyer. I'm not the smartest crayon, sharpest crayon in the box. But I would ask Def Jam. I was like, well, I ain't seen no big budget videos from him. I don't see big budget production if his homeboys is doing the beats. Why do I still owe you guys money?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what
that's a legitimate question.
What could you possibly have spent that money on that you saying I owe you? Like, I do my recording. My homies got the beats. He one of them niggas is independent and do his videos and shit. Like, what the fuck would I owe y'all for?
Hey, them billboards in Times Square, bro, they cost.
So it sold 1,000 more CDs because it was, 1,000 more streams because of it. They got you $100. Literally, you paid $4 million for it. Yeah,
but Tiger said the same thing.
And that goes to the model. That model was about dead because it's the information age, and I think one of the biggest thing that artists have is they can now ask questions. Like, bro, if I put my mixtape out for $12,000 and it got good quality and I got good artwork and I did a couple of videos, why does it take 12 million to do my album and y'all using the same people that I use for my videos and y'all getting the same beats? Like, now people gonna start asking those questions because you, even if you're independent, you've been doing this shit. You paid these people before. You know how the invoices look. But y'all telling me it's $30 million and I just paid the nigga $5 million.
Yeah, that's listen, it's the same way. Have you ever got a hospital bill before insurance takes care of it?
Yeah, exactly.
They smacking the insurance company.
You have to use insurance, like,
You
because
have to.
otherwise, I'm gonna charge you $13.49 for this fucking aspirin. This
That's
one right here, this one. Like, what? How is
It's
that
the same
possible,
way.
bro?
It's the
I can send
same way.
somebody to the store. Like, come on.
Listen, they're gonna smack you. So that's what they're doing. They're smacking the artist. Tiger said the same thing. Tiger said he hadn't gotten $1 from Cash Money. I remember when
Well,
at
that's
that
more
time.
understandable though. Nobody's gotten $1 from Cash Money.
Yeah, well, that make it even crazier.
For baby, the only nigga that's gotten $1 from Cash Money. So that makes it way more understandable unless they've gone to court. But I guess it's hard to understand, like you say, with Logic and Def Jam more so than Cash Money. Right. I could see Cash Money being like, my nigga, if you paying for all this shit, and I could see Baby giving a nigga 10, 15,000 up front and being like, that's it. Right, that's it, bro. Like, I don't know what you coming back over here for. My nigga, it's a wrap.
Oh shit. All right, man. Let's get to this Savage Mode 2. The long-awaited follow-up to Savage Mode 1. That's 21 Savage and Metro Boomin. Listen, man, 21 Savage has been low this year, super low. And you know how we get down: expectations, initial thoughts, highlights, lowlights, and then we'll have a rating. Coming into this, it was just announced maybe like 2 or 3 days beforehand. Where were your expectation level for this new 21 Savage?
Well, based off the announcement, man, I'm always excited to hear 21. I won't say I've been a big fan. I've converged over the years to a bigger and bigger fan each time he dropped. So I was surprised. The last Metro Boomin in 21, I really wasn't a big fan of, though. I think that was before I got on him heavy. Right. So I really wasn't into that as far as the album when it dropped. So when I heard that this one was going to be coming out, I was like, okay, it'll be all right, little tape. Maybe it's some old stuff that they've done that they never released and meant to release before he got into the visa trouble. Because like you said, he had been low. Yeah. And I wasn't expecting him to just Beyonce with brand new material and come out in 3 days and like from now and be like, hey, I got a new album. Oh, yeah, here it is. I wasn't expecting that from him at all. So very immediate to low expectations because I thought it would be old stuff. What about you?
I was medium. 21 Savage has begun to grow on me as well. His last album, I Am Greater Than I Was. I thought that was real solid. And I thought that was an improvement from the Issa album, a big improvement. And yeah, I just thought he's improved as a rapper. And what I mean by that is I don't mean necessarily bars when I say he's improved as a rapper. I think he's not as stiff as he was when he first came out. He rapped like he had just started, in my opinion, and he rapped in one,
because he had just started.
That makes sense then. So in 2016, he literally sounded like he had just started in 2015, and he was still finding his footing. He just happened to be cool with Metro Boomin, who got them beats for days and days. Like dude is cold with them beats. So I thought he was lucky enough to know Metro Boomin to get 12, 13 beats for a whole project. Because without that, I don't know if 21 is here today where we at with it. But that early 21 didn't really do nothing for me. But now that he's switched up the flow a little bit, his voice isn't just so monotonous to go along with his flow. Like, that used to kill me early on. But now, so I was medium looking forward to it. You know what I'm saying? I liked the rollout. I thought it was cool. I thought the trailer was dope as hell. Having Morgan Freeman do your shit.
Was fire.
The trailer was super hard.
Yeah. How much you think they paid Morgan Freeman for that?
Man, Morgan Freeman, probably about 50. About 50 bands. Well, I don't know, though. It is God, though. No, Morgan Freeman narrated the God joint.
You shortchanging him. I wasn't going to challenge you on it.
It might be 75.
It might be 100. Morgan Freeman?
Yeah, it might be. Nah, they might have blew the budget on Morgan Freeman because they ain't do no promo.
Everything, I was going to say, everything else might have just been like, because the Pen and Pixel cover art, like, we'll get into that at some point, I'm sure, but that couldn't have been number like 65, 7,500. If that.
Yeah, that's a fact. So
everything else was Morgan Freeman, 100,000.
Morgan Freeman might have been 100, 150 though. I'm gonna be real.
That's like that nigga got probably the most noticeable voice in the world. You tax for that, man. Like true. That was the first thing I thought of. Like, man, how much I pay him for that?
That's a good point.
Shit.
That's true. That's true. What did you think when you first heard it though?
I'm here for it, man. I love 21 Savage. I think you kind of started going down that road. I thought you were going to hit on it, but I love the fact that he doesn't take himself as serious as you think that he would. Just from the persona that he has out there, just from maybe some of the interviews you've seen. If you've been following for a while, you may have seen the noisy and Vice, the breakdowns. But I love the fact that you can laugh at some of the bars that he drops on like this, all of his tapes, not just this one specifically, going all the way back to Izza. But I really appreciate the entertainment factor that is 21 Savage, like always giving you a different perspective. For me, almost laughing out loud at some bars. Like, man, this nigga is crazy.
That's
saying that to myself a couple of times, just at how outrageous or funny that it was, or me not expecting a bar that he was about to drop. So that I appreciate every time since Issa's dropped that he's had an album. That I definitely appreciate. And I think he's kept it going with this. It was very cinematic as far as the Morgan Freeman thing on there and just the lead ins and the interludes. I think they played very well. I was very impressed by an album that had 3 days of promo that sounded like it was this much money was spent on it, from the beats to the production. Obviously not a lot was spent on commercials and things like that because it was only 3 days, but it sounded expensive, like an expensive album. Like, it didn't sound like a throwaway like I thought at all. So my walk away from it initially was like 21 Savage is back. Like, he took some time off. They let that stuff blow over with the visa. He was headed to being a star before that happened anyway, if he wasn't already like one of the top list stars. But even more so, he was like in a pocket where, like, I would say that Lil Baby's in now. Like, he was right there in that pocket. And I think that he like didn't miss a step once his album came out. And I listened to it, it re-solidified him as being that star that's in waiting, that's about to be the next class and going to be around a lot.
Yeah, when I first listened to it, I did like it. I thought you said the right word, is cinematic. I thought getting Morgan Freeman to narrate with this production style that they used was perfect. I thought that was very clever. This sounded like they took their time putting it together. This is about a year and some change in the making. I think they announced it in July last year. So they took their time putting it together. And when I first listened to it, I was rocking with it. Like, I listened to it in the car for my first go round, and this is one of those type of albums that you listen to in the whip. And I think that his ace in the hole is Metro Boomin, though. 21 is okay. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he's an improved rapper, but some of the bars are still, some of them I'm laughing with him and some of them I'm laughing at him.
I think that's the point, though. I don't think that he wants you to think that he's a Big Sean or a J. Cole. Like, he's like, yeah, nigga, this is funny, but nigga, I'll shoot you. Like, tell me that I can't rap and I'm gonna shoot you. Like, I feel like that's part of the shtick. Like, and it works.
No, I get it. And it listen, I think I remember that there was a petition out that they need to hurry up and put this out, man. But like, not 3-4 weeks ago, they had a petition. Like, man, y'all, it had like 30,000 signatures. People are like, "Where's Savage Mode 2, man? God damn."
That's how washed I be. Like, I didn't even know it was a thing that people were waiting on this.
Oh yeah. Now people have been waiting on this. They announced it a year and a half ago. Like, people like, yo, what y'all? You know, when somebody announced something, you're like, fam, like, what y'all doing?
So let me ask you this: did you pick up on the diss song?
You talking about Jeezy?
Yeah, did you pick up on that?
I picked up on the bar. Yeah, he said Jeezy name.
But it didn't sound like a diss to me.
Oh no,
it sounded like a diss to you. I mean, of course it was. Especially after I seen it, and even the Snitches and Rats song. They said it was a 6ix9ine diss.
Nah, but he cleared that up and said that's just for anybody that's snitching and ratting.
Oh, okay, got it. I was just about to say, it makes me like, I remember back in the day when we used to hear albums and like used to be so deep into shit that you would explain to people and be like, man, this is happening here and this is because he beefing with him. And I listened to this whole thing, went through, and then I read a couple reviews and looked up a couple things online. They were like, 21 Savage is beefing with Jeezy and he got the diss song about 6ix9ine. I'm like, man, I didn't hear none of that.
Oh, you know,
like I heard the nigga say Jeezy name. You know what? But it just seems like back in the day, or when you follow rap a little bit more closely, that you would have picked up on those things. My point is, I didn't pick up on any of that. I just picked up on him being 21 Savage. I even thought the Jeezy thing was like, of course, I wouldn't necessarily say that they were beefing, but that's Gucci Mane people. Like, you fuck with Gucci Mane. Like, there's no love for Jeezy.
The 21 Savage Jeezy name drop seemed random as hell.
But
I didn't get that at all. But I mean, hey, who knows? Just anytime somebody in rap mentions a snitch from here on out, you're automatically going to think they're talking about 6ix9ine. Like that's just kind of how it's going to be. And this song was probably inspired by the events of Tekashi 6ix9ine. So you can go ahead and chalk that up. What on here do you think worked for you on this album?
The cinematic feel worked on the album. I think it adds to the simplistic bars and simplistic pattern that 21 uses. You need big production to go with that. You need big interludes. You need Morgan Freeman on here to make it add up to an act like 21 Savage, because he's not going to take you down through there from a lyrical standpoint, but a lot is investing in him as an artist. They took a hit when that stuff came through with the visa stuff, and I like him addressing it on there. But what worked for me is how big that it was and how it ties into, without him being some rapper's rapper, it being a big rap album. I love that. I love him and Metro working together. I love that he, even though he's grown up and you see his interview where he's more mature, the 21 Savage music is still the 21 Savage music. I ain't trying to be conscious with y'all niggas. I ain't telling y'all niggas to get a job in the music. I may say that in an interview, but my nigga in here, I'm talking about shoot niggas, and I'm talking about like riding out. We was robbing niggas. Like
it's gangster rap.
It's gangster rap, but it's authentic gangster rap, and it's not like, hey, you guys should go do this either. It's just like, this is me. It's unapologetic. It's me, and that's the kind of rap that I appreciate the most. Like I ain't trying to sway a nigga to do nothing, but I am letting you know that it's real while I get down there. And I just I enjoy the stories that he's able to tell by doing that. If I'm being very specific, I spoke of Snitches and Rats with Young Nudy. I like that. I like the rich nigga shit with Young Thug. I think that was a dope ass song. My favorite song on there is My Dog. I like the story that he told and started from the beginning. That was the first one that I ran back. I think I listened to that 3 times before I moved on. So I'm a big fan of those tracks. What worked for you on the album?
Man, the cohesion between Savage and Metro Boomin is nuts. These beats, like 21 Savage voice has like this like menacing kind of like villain tone, and when you match that with the cinematic production, like the villain just came on screen, or like a kind of horror movie influenced production, man, it matches up perfectly. I think they make good music together. It's a dope combination. They in a bag. I also like the Morgan Freeman shit. I thought that shit was fire. I was here for it. I'm looking on the credits on Tidal, and it says that Metro Boomin and 21 Savage wrote his parts. I don't know. I was thinking that I was listening, like I wonder who wrote this, but I think it worked. It was dope. I also, if I had to go specific joints, I like Many Men. I thought that was dope. I like the last joint, Said and Done. I thought that was fire. And probably my favorite one on here, the hardest one on here, is Running. That's the very first song after the intro. It come on so hard though after that intro. After the intro with the build up and the Morgan Freeman talking, how that Running come on with that sample is fire, nigga. Like that shit slaps. I get that. That's a perfect example of them. It might be the hardest song on here. Like he did a good job putting that first because it set the tone for the album. So I think those were the things that worked for me. Oh, and the cover too. The throwback Pen and Pixel cover. Pen and Pixel doesn't make covers anymore. They came out of retirement for this. So that was super dope. Obviously paying an ode to Throwback Cash Money and Throwback No Limit covers from back in the day. You know, I'm always here for young niggas paying homage to shit that came before them. So that was the vintage artwork was definitely a highlight. Well, what didn't work for you on you?
Um, the song with Aubrey just didn't work for me. No, I didn't like any. It ain't just specifically because it's a Drake song. I didn't like any of the 21 Savage female songs. Like it was that
you don't
one.
like female songs though. You say that for every album we listen to. You be like the female song
Maybe,
didn't work.
possibly. I'm glad you're keeping notes. I'm glad you're taking notes. But I definitely didn't like the Mister Right Now. Um, and I can't even
It was
figure out
okay.
what the. No, I didn't like it at all. But it was another one that was a similar tone that I wasn't fucking with. Um, And I wish that he had just opened it up a little bit more. I like to see 21 Savage work with a couple more people in the industry, like a couple more artsy or rappy rap people. Like it was really dope when he did the song with J. Cole. Like it was unexpected.
That was
So
dope.
I would like to see more of that. Not necessarily saying J. Cole, but just more artists other than Young Thug. I think that would have been a fire look just to have some more people on here. But I don't have a really to nitpick through it and say that I didn't like a lot of it. What about you?
You could argue that song with J. Cole is better than any song on him.
That's a fact.
You could argue that.
That is
Like
a
that,
fact.
that was a Grammy nominated song. That song was super banging.
That's a fact. That's why I think, and I think that brought the best out of 21 Savage. So if he worked with more people like that, be like higher name artists, that you could hear some doper music from him.
Yeah. What didn't work for me, the song "Stepping on Niggas" is some slaw. They sampled that throwback like bounce beat. That shit is trash.
You know why it was some slow, and never thought I'd say this.
What's that?
He needed the E40 feature on there.
Oh my God, no.
He needed E40. Ain't that the E40 sample? Like, yo, you remember when
I think he did use that. My Posse's on Broadway.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
he needed E40 on there, man. E40 would have tore that down.
Nope.
I'll make that happen for you, 21, man. You needed E40 on there.
Rest in peace, love. I thought that's some slaw. That really wasn't talking about none. And then just some of the bars, man, they fell flat. You know what I mean? Like his style is very ABC 1, 2, 3, and it's very clear. And so if you say something that is flat, bro, it's gonna be cringeworthy because it's gonna be very clear that you just said some shit that was whack. You know what I'm saying? So like that, but that on the flip side, that's also why some stuff is so funny, is because he leaves space in between what he's saying. You're getting the full bar, dude. So if it's some slaw, it's gonna stand out. If it's funny, it's gonna stand out. And it's unfortunate that a lot of these bars are some slaw, and so they stood out. So I would say that some cringe-worthy bars on here.
A lot of them were some slaw, though. Don't do that. Some of them were some slaw.
How many were some slaw? A lot. How many? A lot.
Over under 40%. Under.
That's a push.
You can't tell me 40% of the nigga bars was some slaw.
That's a push.
That's no way. It's impossible.
If I had to give it a rating, I would go 3 reels, good, worth listening to. The production alone is 3 reels and then half for his 60% good bars. 3.5. I mean, 3 reels, period.
I'm going 3.5. Solid work streaming.
3.5 is banging. I'm going 3.
Oh, excuse me. 3.5 for me is banging. I like it.
Okay.
I think it's a good 21 Savage project. Came out at a perfect time, quiet storm, not a lot of big dogs out stomping around. I always reference that as far as the release dates. I think that he did a good job of coming in, swooping down, making his presence felt, and probably go fade off into the night for the rest of the year. So I think he did a good job with that. So I'm going to go 3.5.
I ain't mad at that, man. You guys let us know what you thought about 21 Savage Mode 2. Is it what you expected? Were you one of the people that signed the petition, and did you get what you wanted from this Savage Mode 2? Man, we got some wins and some losses to check out.
Having a petition for this Savage Mode 2 is nuts.
Yeah, that shit wild.
Nuts, I tell you.
Got
nuts. But we do facts. But we do have some wins and some losses. The first W is going to the one and only Sean Carter. Jay-Z named as the first Super Bowl halftime executive producer who is black in the history of the NFL. What do you think about that?
Yeah, he named Jesse Collins. Shout out to him. First of all, the first black Super Bowl halftime executive producer makes so much sense. That would explain a lot of the halftime shows that we've gotten in the NFL. We're in 2020 and they finally got somebody of color. We'll see what that does. I don't know exactly what that means, but we'll see. But the Jesse Collins dude is behind the John Lewis special, and he's behind a gang of other like TV shows and specials and stuff. So he's put shit together, man. We'll see.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing how that looks. I definitely hope that it works out well. Doubt it, but I hope so.
We'll see.
Next W, man, goes to Jay Electronica fans. That long lost album that Just Blaze leaked is in full online, even on the streaming sites. Did you check it out?
I did, man. It hit Tidal. He said it's going to be on the other sites. It is called Act 2, The Patents of Nobility. That whatever that means, I don't fucking know. It's okay. It's Jay Electronica. I'm not the biggest fan of his. I will, however, say the outro is an instrumental. That motherfucker's amazing. I will say that.
Some dope Just Blaze beats on there.
It's some okay Just Blaze beats on there. It sounds like a 2010 version of the album that came out this year.
What Just Blaze been at?
That's an excellent question. DJing overseas and shit. He getting that bag. That let you know how strange of a year 2020 is. We got 2 Jay Electronicas, bro. That's nuts.
Yeah, that's a wild 2020. Yeah, that is a fact. That's a great point.
Sheesh.
Another W to Nicki and the Barbs. Nicki welcomed her first child into the world, a little baby girl, man. Shout out to Nick.
Shout out to Nicki and her husband. I don't know that nigga name. Did they name the baby yet?
Barb.
Stop. I'm always interested to see celebrity baby names, man. They be out there, man. I be liking the creative shit, though. I think that should
be Barb Minaj, man. That's gonna be it.
Hey, that'll be hard though. Slick.
Barb Minaj.
That's tough on the low.
That is slick hard, Barb Minaj. I need money for that, Nick, if you use it. And last but not least, man, an L to Nikki Patterson for breaking the Guinness Book of World Records for most, get this, Eminem tattoos. She has 16 of those. Would you get another rapper tattoo? Would you get a rapper tattooed on you?
You know the answer to that shit. Hell no. Listen.
So other than the Master P tattoo that you have on your back, you wouldn't get another one.
I'm not getting. I don't do tats, man. They're not for me. Nikki Patterson got to hold this L though. This is the record for most tattoos of somebody else on you, not just Eminem tats. So let me be clear. She has 16 Eminem tattoos on her, bro. Like if you were Eminem, how would you feel about this? Like if somebody has 16 Spike Lee tats, would you be like, oh, that's dope, or would you be like, get the restraining order? Like, what would you?
Would definitely be worried. I would 100% be worried.
That shit ain't nothing.
Man, I would be worried.
Female stan. Before we get out of here, man, on Decker of the Week, we are going to Patreon. Shout out to a new subscriber, Daniel M. Appreciate that subscription, man. Enjoy those album reviews. We've got some dope ass album reviews up, man. Big Timers Volume 2 is up. Outcast, Aquemini is up right now. Super dope. Brand new tiers coming to Patreon this month. I know I said that last month. I'm making up for it. October, we'll have a date for you very soon. We'll have bonus content from all the shows on the network. Is going to be major. Trust me.
My put on is going to actually be that podcast that we spoke about earlier. I want to make sure that you guys don't forget that October the 8th, the NPR podcast, which is going to be called Louder Than a Riot. I definitely want to make sure that I can have some conversations with some people out there about what you hear on there. I think that's going to be very insightful. What's your put on?
I'm gonna put on one of the albums that came out this past week. This was a pretty eventful week for music on the low. That YG is straight. My Life 400. I couldn't believe it. Shout out to my guy Big Jeff from FSP. He said this in the group chat. He said this was YG's last chance, and he was 100% correct. I decided to give it a spin, and I actually like it. So shout out to YG. Back against the wall. He put out a solid project. I couldn't believe it. I actually like it. I'm gonna run it back a little bit later on this week. But it was some good music that came out. That West Side Gun also came out. Larry June came out with Harry Fraud as well, and so did Alchemist came out with something too. So it was a pretty solid weekend for new music, man, especially for a quarantine year.
Alchemist did a take with like other artists.
Yeah, you know how he do. You know what I'm saying? He do all the beats and shit. It's called A Doctor, a Painter, and an Alchemist Walk into a Bar. That's the name of it.
That's pretty cool. Now you know a lot of those jokes sort of like I was watching some sitcom or something. They would start a couple of jokes out there. That's dope. I like it. I'm gonna check that out just because of the name.
Absolutely, man. Do us a favor, guys. YouTube.com/realville. Make sure you subscribe. We're on a road to 1,000 subscribers. We're trying to get there ASAP. We'll have a giveaway or two when we hit that number. And again, patreon.com/realville, man. We appreciate you guys checking us out. Till the next time.